Hey, ambitious dentist, welcome to Start Your Dental Practice, the show for existing and aspiring dentists to take your dental practice to the highest possible level. I'm your host, Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV, founder of dentistmetrics.com. In every episode, we aim to demystify the how to start a dental practice problem by bringing on world-class dentists, influencers, and consultants in the dental industry to pick their brain about how to get past the barriers involved from going from no practice to being a practice owner to owning your own successful dental practice. Today's show is about spending your marketing dollars where they will give you your best return. When you're first starting out, it's easy to look around at what everybody else is doing and try to do the same. But what if what everyone else is doing is actually costing them money? This is often the case when a new dentist is looking for ways to market their new practice. In this show, Mark Dilatush joins us to share the pitfalls and traps you need to look out for in your marketing strategy. Mark is a partner and president of New Patients Inc., a full-service marketing firm that specializes in dentistry. First, here are a few things you're going to hear about. You're going to learn about the two marketing segments that determine if a new patient comes to see you because they want to save money or if it's because if they want to value your services, the number of appointments needed to go full-time when you're first getting started, the only thing you should base a startup budget on, why some startups take forever to get going, the reason why banks are quick to lend money to startup practices despite the risk of it failing, the hidden truth about the marketing budget for a startup, a smart way to partner with local businesses to grow your client base faster, the reason why hiring a marketing company is often ineffective, the risk of sending the same message to your entire marketing sphere, and at the end of the episode, you'll find out where you can get a bonus about how to market to patients. So be sure to listen all the way through this entire interview to get access to that. Now here's my interview with Mark Dilatush. Hello, ambitious dentists. Today I have with us Mark Dilatush with New Patients Inc. Mark is the partner and president of New Patients Inc., and he's got a 26-year experience in the dental practice that's really interesting. He actually came from another world, I think, then which was the software world, and then came into the marketing. He actually had some run-ins with consulting as well, and he is ahead now of this full-service marketing firm that is very specific to dentistry. He's in some shared Facebook groups as I am in. He is in Dental Town. He has really fantastic post, and he really enjoys giving back to the community. So we're really thankful that he's came on today. So Mark, thanks for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for asking me. It was interesting to get a Facebook message while I was just perusing my Facebook wall. I get a message, and hey, you want to do a podcast? Sure, I'd love to do a podcast. So
yeah,
thanks for inviting.
Absolutely. So now your background is in software, business analytics, practice management, and trying to help be effective while promoting dentistry to the dental patients, if you will.
Right.
So kind of walk me into how you got into the dental industry, because I think it's very important. Every guest I have on, I try and make sure that we get the story of how they got into the dental industry in, so that the guys out there know that these people actually are truly in the dental industry.
Oh, okay. So I'm 54 years old, and 20 some years ago. So I must have been 20. I don't know. I was in my mid-20s or early 20s, and I was selling optometry practice management software. My brother actually owned the company, and that company was sold, and I needed something to do because, kind of like yourself, I had a 1.5-year-old and a wife that was 6 months away from having our second child, and I didn't have a job. So I took my experience selling practice management software to optometry and made the transition over into dentistry. And as I did that, my interest actually happened organically. I'm almost completely left-brained. My business partner, Howie Horrocks, is completely right-brained. Okay, he's the creative side of our business, and I'm the business side of our business. So between the two of us, we create at least one working, functioning brain. Okay, But the more I went into these practices, the dental practices, while I was selling technology, I was selling SoftDent at the time in my early days. The more I saw the financial impact, and the more you start putting numbers together, you start seeing cause and effect relationships of these and that happening, and so on and so forth. And then you start tweaking your better clients, and you say, geez, doc, if you did X, Y, and Z, you'd have an A, B, and C outcome. There's no reason for you to be stressed because you're getting D. All you have to do is X, Y, and Z. And they would do it, and they would come back later on and go, dang, you were right. That was cool. Thanks. And then pretty soon, I don't know, 10 or 11 years later, the home office at InfoSoft at the time was the owner of SoftDent, took notice, and they hired me to be their regional manager and then national sales manager. So my job was to really twofold: lead the development team in the analytics of a dental practice. So when the programmers came and sat on a table, they would say, what should we do? And I would say, well, we're not measuring X properly. We need to measure X this way. Okay. I've had fights in those rooms. I don't care what dentist Dr. Smith said. Dr. Smith doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Okay. You need to measure it this way. Okay. And so that was the development team part, but then the sales, there was 83 salespeople. I had to take what was in my head about the impact of the product on the bottom line of the dental practice and get it out of my head and get it into their head so that they could be more effective selling the system. Because you sell anything you sell based on the benefits. You don't sell anything based on the features, right? So anyway, so we were bought over to PracticeWorks. I left PracticeWorks, went to work with a management consultant, pretty famous one, called me and said, I'm moving. Can you help me build my business? And I said, okay. And we had a 2-year contract. It went wonderfully. We built her business up to the point where, I didn't have to be there anymore. And that's where I actually met my current business partner, Howie Horrocks. Howie came over to that business to show them the marketing they were all doing. That was about 12, 13 years ago. And then that summer, Howie called me and said, Mark, why don't you come build my business with me? And I said, okay. So here we are. And I joke with everybody, and we're basically a 27-year-old overnight success. Howie started the company in 1989. He's the pioneer. He's the CEO. He's the founder. He's the right brain of the company. If you asked me to sit down and design something for you, it would look like a 6-year-old did it with a green crayon, okay? But if you sit down and say, Howie, how would you promote the benefits of same-day dentistry to the everyday female? He would do it. He would do it once, and you know what? It would work. Okay? I couldn't do it, right? I couldn't. There's no way I could do it, right? So that's what my business partner, he leads the design and the content side of the business. And then I lead the other side of the business, the marketing, the sales, the, product development and opinion leaders and consultants and all that stuff. So between the two of us, I think we probably make, pretty good partners.
Sounds like
anyway, that's how I got here.
It sounds like a very synergistic relationship. So that sounds like it would work well. I would say if you're drilling at a 6-year-old level, you'd be about 3 years ahead of me. So I am not the creative virtuoso that I would like to be. So talk to me. You've been working in this company for 12 to 13 years in medical service businesses for much longer than that. Talk to me about what you've seen in the industry that is surprising to you, or someone that would be surprising to someone listening in.
Wow, how do I answer this without sounding?
We ask the hard questions.
Well, no, it's not really a hard question. It's just, how do I answer it without sounding like I'm trying to answer your question without patting up my back. I'm going to say surprises are terrible in this business. especially from a marketing firm standpoint. So I strive to have nothing surprise us. Okay? That doesn't mean we don't have surprises. I had an employee who was using our corporate credit card to buy herself toilet paper and membership coupons from Walmart and taking them home. Okay? That surprised me, and I fired her. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I get surprised every day. But does the consolidation of the dental market surprise me? No. I can tell you the most recent surprise. The most recent surprise was a wonderful surprise. In 2008, the country hit a wall. The country hit an economic wall. Greatest recession in our lifetime. And for the first recession, the company's been around now for 4 of them. This is the first recession that dentists did not grab all their baseball equipment, run off the field, and run into the dugout and sit it out until the clouds went away. This is the first reset. That's one surprise. I'm very happy I was surprised, because I was in the middle of taking the company and doing exactly the same thing in preparation for dentistry. What I thought dentistry was just going to go like this. Mm-hmm. They were just going to wait, right? I'm not going to spend any money on marketing through this recession. That's crazy, right? I'm just going to hope, right? We grew 20% a year for the last 7 years. Okay. Okay. That's amazing. Okay. And incredibly surprising given the previous 3 recessions. If you look at our numbers over the previous 3 recessions, dentists were not prepared from a business standpoint to weather a storm like that. This one, they were. But there aren't a whole lot of surprises. Here's one. I'm surprised when people, and most of them are dentists, but I'm surprised when dentists log on and say, what are we going to do about corporate dentistry? Howie and I spoke at the 40th anniversary of the AADGP meeting last year, the American Academy of Dental Group Practice meeting. Their 40th anniversary. And I'm starting to see posts about what are we going to do about corporate dentistry. They didn't just show up. Okay. They've been around for 40 years at least. I'm sure they didn't make the organization when the first group practice was established, right? Okay. So that's not new. So if I'm surprised by the reaction to it. I try not to be surprised by too much that happens in dentistry, though, because that can be devastating to your business.
Sure.
Let me see some other surprises. I'm surprised about there's a new lawsuit, class action lawsuit out there that's against all the manufacturers. The supply companies. Kind of surprises me that nobody walked into that space and consolidated it like 20 years ago, because it's so easy to do. Okay. I'm sitting here with I could have or connect myself with the resources to go do that. Right. But so that's kind of surprising. Right.
I had a post today about that. I was like, I can't believe it would take like a phone call from someone like an Amazon to be able to talk to those manufacturers and be like, you want distribution and shipping, you got it. We'll give you good rates. I mean, it's going to be way better than what you're getting elsewhere. The only thing is they don't have the ears of the dentist, if that's the case, because they don't have those reps out there. Amazon doesn't have 1 million reps, but I think we're there. I think in the next 10, we will see it. If not in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, I think it's going to be all she wrote. Maybe one of the big guys is going to figure it out first and be able to be the people that say, hey, we had our golden goose and we've let it lay as many eggs as we can. Now it's time for us to move to the next golden goose.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is every other market that is just now hitting dentistry. So is that a surprise? I don't think it's a surprise that it's happening. I think it's a surprise that it took so long. I mean, I remember thinking that 22 years ago. What's going on, right? I remember back in my days with technology when we came out with electronic insurance claims. And I remember it taking 15 years to gain 51% compliance from dentists. I'm like, how could it possibly take 15 years for 51% of the dentists to acclimate to something as ridiculously obvious as insurance claims, right? So the adoption curve, that was a surprise to me. So things still surprise me, okay? But I tried not to let them surprise.
So let's move into in the same context of the surprises. So let's move into the marketing side of this thing. And again, as we've talked about, our audience is mostly young dental practice owners, soon to be dental practice owners, people who have recently bought practices or probably in their first 10 years of ownership.
Right.
From a marketing standpoint, is there anything that whenever dentists come to you that you're surprised by? Maybe not, I don't want to lead the question too much here. Are you surprised with what they think will work versus what you've seen work?
Always, whether they're a young dentist or 35 years in practice. And here's what I tell all of them. And sometimes they don't like me for it. And our company's now to the point where, we love new clients, but we're not waiting for our next new client. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I get to actually open my mouth and be the bad guy and actually tell the truth, right? So, here's what I tell them all. I say, Doc, like, it doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what you think is going to work. You're the dentist. You're actually the last person on earth who is qualified to judge what works and what doesn't work. If you think about it, you're the least qualified human being on. If you're a male dentist, you are absolutely the least qualified human being on earth to judge what's going to work or not work when promoting the benefits of dentistry to a dental consumer, which is a great segue to the next piece that I tell everyone, and they don't realize this, and this costs billions of dollars needlessly every year, or not billions, millions every year to dentists. The dental market is, it's women. I don't think anybody would have an argument with that, okay? Here's the part that they fail to recognize, and here's the part that costs them millions of dollars a year. Only half the women in the country will choose a dentist based primarily on a price incentive. The other half get pissed off at it. Okay, not some variation between passively ignoring and pissed off. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is they're never, ever, 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 ever going to respond to a price incentive to choose a healthcare provider for their family. They're just not. There's nothing you can do you could give it away for free, and they're still not going to do it. They'll especially not do it if you give it away for free. Okay? Now, if you promote primarily based on price, if you have a call to action that is primarily based on some kind of a deal, mm-hmm. you absolutely will pull new patients from the bottom half of the market. That's what I define as the bottom half of the dental market, right?
Real quick before you go on that, for the people that aren't familiar with what the term call to action is, can you tell them what a call to action is in marketing?
A call to action is almost anything on any piece of advertising that you've ever seen that asks you to go do something, whether it's order now, or give me your email address, or give me your email address and I'll send you this free report of the 12 secrets of stuff you didn't know, or maybe whatever. Okay, it's a call to action. It might be a telephone number. Most of the ones you see on TV is either the telephone number or a website address with a special promo code. right? You've seen those commercials, right? You see them all the time. You see them everywhere. Log on to geico.com. What are you going to get when you get to geico.com? You're going to get an answer, 15 seconds to get see if your insurance is the right price. That's what you're going to get if you let. That's your call to action. Okay. In dentistry, only half the women will respond if the call to action is a reduced price. And here's what really confuses most dentists, not just young ones, old ones, real old ones, is they struggle finding the other calls to action. Like what else could I possibly promote about my dental practice other than having the $39 exam fee for a new patient? Right? Like they're so close to what they do. They can't possibly think about the benefits of what they do. Dentists change lives. Dentists save lives. Okay? Dentists provide all kinds of the benefits of today's dentistry they're amazing. Okay? Maybe not a cleaning, okay? Maybe not a filling, okay? But implants, dentures, implant supported dentures, all on fours, same day dentistry, Invisalign. There's a million things that dentists can do now that the general public has no clue about. None. But here's the problem. Most dentists just say, I have an exam that's $39, come see me, right? So who do they get? They get the moms in the bottom half of the market who will always generate an appointment in your appointment book, but at the end of the year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 12 years, will always produce an ROI that is 11 times less. Now, if you promote dentistry based on the benefits of dentistry, you will gain less new appointments in volume. However, after the initial appointment, your appointment volume will actually increase because these moms actually get their work done amazingly. Okay. And the ROI on the back end at the end of 12 years is 11 times greater. Okay. It's take the market, split it in half, moms who will choose based on price, moms who won't choose based on price. That's all you have to do in your head. And now when you go build your marketing plan, you have to determine, this is where your younger dentists come in, okay? When you have a startup, I'll just go through some numbers with you. Let's say you have a startup, brand new practice, you're not buying a practice. The average dentist needs 700 active charts just to support a 30-hour work week. 700 active charts.
Okay. Do you go off of the traditional definition of 18-month for active, or
no, this is a startup, dude. This is a startup.
Okay.
Right? There's no 18-month anything. You're opening your door and you have to put 700 fannies in seats in the next 12 months.
Okay, 712 months. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. So the doctor comes to you and says, and you always ask the doctor, or at least we do. We say, well, when can you go full time? What's the first point you can go full time? And they always say the same thing. I'll go full time as soon as I can. Okay. You need 700 active charts. Now, a doctor's also going to say, well, what should my budget be? This is for startups out there who are listening to this podcast. The doctor's going, what should my budget be? Now, with a startup, the only thing you can really base a startup budget on is the average acquisition cost of a new patient in that market. If you think about it, right? Okay. Now it doesn't cost as much.
Let's just real quick. Let's define that for people. Average acquisition cost per patient in that market. That means how much, like, if you were to spend, for people out there that are listening, that kind of, if that may have flown over your head, that means how much money on average are we spending per patient that's walking through that door through these marketing campaigns.
To get an individual fanny in a dental chair, what does it cost me in marketing?
Okay.
Right. That's what an acquisition cost is. Okay. Now, I'm just going to use round numbers. Okay. Just round numbers. These aren't even, well, they're pretty close. Okay. Let's put the acquisition cost at $100.
Okay.
How many patients do we need?
700.
Multiply 7 times 100. What do you get?
7 times 100, 700. So that would mean there'd be 70,000.
70,000. Now, ask all your people on the end of in your database how many of them came into a startup with a reasonable startup budget, and the answer will be none of them.
Yeah, we usually see a lot of them try and shoot somewhere around. They'll do
10,
like a website and like they'll do like a mailer or something like that, and they'll be, they'll want to get
for 3 months.
Yeah, they'll want to get through for like they'll get like a month's worth of service for 12 months of payments of $2,000 a month.
Okay. So why do some startups take painfully forever to get going? Is it that the startup was poorly funded? That's part of it. You can't deny it. Okay. Because you can't pre-fund soft costs. Bank of America is not signing up for soft costs anymore. Okay? The doctors coming into this business most times with what? $47 in their pocket and $200,000 in school loans.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually like negative $400,000.
Okay, this is reality, right? Okay, this is all reality.
That's before they start the practice. That's before.
Okay, right. But the lender looks at the whole business of dentistry and sees an underwriting risk of 0.4, gets all excited, and says, I'm going to recover 99.6% of every dollar I ever lend any dentist in America, and says, here you go, completely unready human being, take all this money.
And the reason they do that is because if that practice fails, and I haven't talked about this very much, if that practice fails, the real reason they're lending that to you is because of your future earning potential as a dentist. Even if that fails at $500,000 with the debt and you lose it, you're still going to have earning potential after that, a lot of earning potential.
Yeah.
So they're very protected to get something back over time.
The underwriting risk is 0.4. Go find me a smaller one. You won't.
No.
That's why banks, they trip over each other getting to dental offices. Okay? Doesn't mean it's right. It just means it happens.
So do you think that is an issue? I mean, do you think that's do you think that $70,000 is a reasonable marketing budget, or do you have a way to kind of get around that?
No, that's kind of the point. There is no way to, okay, if you came to me and you let's say you were John Q dentist and you had a startup and you said, Mark, and we're in consult, you're not my client yet.
Sure.
We're just shooting the breeze. And you said, Mark, please tell me what to do. It's more important for you to be accurate than it is for you to tell me something that I want to hear. Now that startup dentist wants to hear, sure, I can get you 700 patients for $10,000. And there's about 9,000 companies out there that will take that $10,000 from that dentist. What I'm going to tell that dentist is go associate, save up $70,000 and commit that $70,000 to your first year marketing. And you will be far less disappointed than the dentist who tried to apply $10,000 to a market that requires $70,000. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, how many startups do you know that were just brutally disappointed in the first 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months? They're all over the place. It's not because it's a lack of planning. It's a lack of knowledge. Not like the knowledge isn't available. We have books. We have online series. We try to get this information out to folks. I don't think they want to believe it. I think they're so excited to go open their own practice, and the money is so available to them from people who are doing nothing but encouraging them. Who's more encouraging than a bank and a supplier rep to a dentist who's going, seriously, who's going to, right? They're the most encouraging people on earth, right? So, and I don't blame the dentist. The dentist, their dream is to own their own practice. I'm not blaming anybody, all right? I'm just saying, come on, people, right? You know, you don't, this is business. This is not, hoping is not a marketing strategy, right? It's just not, you know, I hope. So how do you mitigate the costs? All right, that's a fair question. And I've written chapters about this. If you're going to open a practice, I'm going to say you need to be the most obnoxious human being on earth in your community. You need to, right? You need to circle the wagons. You need to get your entire sphere of influence together somehow, some way, and explain to them what you are, who you are, and where you're opening your dental practice, and gain their commitment to be one of your new patients when you open the door. You know how money you have to send to me to do that? $0. Very few dentists are willing to be that way. If you've ever heard the name Larry Rosenthal in New York, that's how Larry built his practice. He's got probably the premier cosmetic dentistry practice in all of Manhattan, and he never did any marketing. He just opened his mouth, went to every party, and he was just the most obnoxious individual on the planet. I love Larry, okay, but how many dentists will do that?
I had an interview with Howard Ferron from Dental Town.
He
said the way that he built his practice was on the weekends when he wasn't working, and if he wasn't working, he would go do this. He would go door to door, down every neighborhood in his community, introducing himself, saying, "Hey, I'm Howard Ferron. I'm a doctor. I opened up right over here by the Safeway. You know, if you need any help, I would love for you to come in. I got my appointment book right here. I can put you down."
right. So
I thought that was it was so smart. To even like today, no one would do that. Like how I was talking to a client about it that had done a startup. I was like, I think that's a fantastic idea. He's like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to call you back. I'm just going. And I was like, just go do one block and see what happens. I'd love to see what happens.
Right. And you know, businesses, you know, we provide insurance for our employees, but there's a lot of small businesses out there, even with Obamacare, okay, who have, you know, who they may provide healthcare for their employees. They may not, because they don't have to. They don't qualify for that piece, right? And in most neighborhoods that have dental practices, you have 20, 30, 40, 50 of these kinds of businesses where you can walk in and you can actually identify the owner and talk directly to the owner. Someone who runs a coffee shop or a bagel shop or a pizza shop or whatever. What's stopping you from walking in there and offering them a dental plan and the promise that you'll work with their employees on the employees' lunch hour and before work and after work? What's stopping any dentist from doing that?
And that's
nothing.
That's one conversation for what, 20, 30, 40, 50 people that could be caught up by that?
Right. What's stopping the dentist from taking an 8.5 by 11 frame and putting the pizza shop's menu in that frame and putting that up on the reception wall in the dental office? What's stopping the dentist from doing a reciprocal marketing with those other local businesses? What's stopping a dentist from doing that? Nothing. And you know how much money they have to send my company? $0. Right? But they don't do it. They just don't. They want the marketing company or whoever they send their check to, they want that person to be responsible for the end total outcome. Okay? That's not how it works. Okay? And I'll give you some other scenarios. We work with we work with hundreds of clients who have a tremendous list of what they offer their patients, whether it's services, amenities, conveniences, public relations assets, technologies. They just have this endless list of things to brag about. We also have dentists who, sorry, but they don't do endo, they don't do ortho, they send all their perio out. They'll do 2 and 3 surface composites, maybe single crown and bridge, right? And they maybe have, they may have an intraoral camera that's been collecting dust back in the closet for the last 27 years. And, there's no Wi-Fi. Their most convenient hours is 9 to 3 on a weekday. So there are marketable practices, and there are really difficult to market dental practices. Okay, so this marriage between the doctor and the marketing company, you can't just lay everything on the marketing company. That's not fair. And the marketing company can't lay everything on the dentist either. That's not fair. If you're going to pay them, they should be handling 99% of it and guiding you on the rest, right? So anyway, so there's another reason why startups get off track. Most of the time, though, it's finances. It's poor recognition of reality, poor financial preparation, mostly caused by people who would love to encourage you and your own excitement to want to start your own practice before you're ready. They're killers. Yeah, they're all killers.
So as far as whenever that person's starting to look for, like you talked a little bit about the market of the women who 50% respond below what is considered a good, 50% respond to price incentives, and the other 50% respond to some type of, I'm assuming some type of message or cultural
the benefits of today's dentistry.
Benefits of today's dentistry. The
proper explanation of the benefits of today's dentistry, plus conveniences, the benefits of, in other words, if I'm close to you and I have early evening and early morning hours, right? Mm-hmm. And I can do same day dentistry, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to come back. You don't have to choke on that purple stuff, okay? You come in, you leave with your restoration, single visit, we got you covered, right? We can handle your whole family. If you have a 2-year-old or a 102-year-old, we got you covered, okay? There's all kinds of really beneficial conveniences that dentists have. If you arrange all of them and present them to mom, half the moms in the country will respond to that eventually. The moms in the bottom half that are looking for a price incentive, you're just boring the hell out of them, because they're not going to respond to anything really but a price incentive, because they don't want to take the time to learn about the benefits of today's dentistry. They're the ones who are clicking on Groupon. Mm-hmm. Okay, right? Yeah. Make sense? Okay.
Absolutely.
So going after the bottom half is not hard. All you really need is some 5x8 postcards, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Figure out what your offer wants to be. How aggressive your offer could be. Stick it on there in a big starburst and mail it out to 10,000 people. And you're going to get phone calls, and you're going to get pieces of your appointment book filled up. And those people, many of them will come in. You will see them, but you're going to kiss a lot of frogs. Okay? There's a cost to kissing frogs. And eventually those people may get some work done. I'm not calling these people bad people. They just have a value point that's over here. Some moms have a value point that's over here. The best that my partner and I can describe it, and the way we describe it in our books and our seminars, is mom has a protective instinct 1 to 100. Okay? The instinct to protect their family is something that can't possibly be measured in a female. But we know that some females are 1 to 50, and some are 51 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
We know that with, excuse me, we know if we walk in the woods and we get between a bear and her cub, there's about a 50% chance we're going to get mauled. There's another 50% chance we're going to walk right by and everything's going to be fine. Okay? Same exact scenario with dentistry and mom. 1 through 50, we'll use price as a selection criteria. 51 through 100, they'll look at you like you have 3 eyes in your head. They actually feel kind of like put off. You know, that you even suggested something like that. So anyway, those are the 2 halves. And so going after the bottom half is pretty easy. They'll generate a high, but this is where the startup needs a balance. When we do a startup, we promote to the bottom half and the top half simultaneously, because you're not going to get large volumes of new patients from the top half of the market ever. You're not going to see, I got 75 really good high quality new patients this month. That doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. You get 12, okay, or 13, all right? On the bottom, you may get 30 people who take advantage of your offer to come in and check out your new dental practice. Okay, so if I have a blank schedule and I'm a startup and I have 30 of these people and 12 of these, I got 42 new patients to treat that month, right? So I kiss a bunch of frogs on the bottom. Most of the ones on the top aren't frogs. They start to consume my schedule going out because they're actually going to get their work done. And a couple of the other ones who aren't frogs, they're going to get their work done. So next month, if I get another 42 with that kind of a mix, I'm building the practice. In 9 or 10 months, things don't look so bad, right?
Sure, absolutely. Makes a lot of sense.
That's the way you have to promote to the top and the bottom simultaneously without impacting each other. See, I'm not mailing to everyone. The internet is not, you don't do everything, you don't do anything to everyone in your local market. You segment the market based on geographic location, based on household income, based on credit worthiness, and based on marketability index. You separate the population and you market different messages to each segment. And you end up spending a whole hell of a lot less money on marketing, and you end up becoming a lot more predictable in the outcome, almost no matter what market it's in. But if you try to send one message to the entire market, I virtually guarantee you that you're wasting half of your dollars. Because if you're sending a price promotion to moms in the top half, you're actually alienating them. And if you send a benefits of dentistry piece to the entire piece, you're boring the hell out of the bottom half. So either way, you're wasting your marketing dollars if you don't segment and target properly. Make sense?
Absolutely. And you can answer this quickly if you need to. How do you determine who these halves of these markets are or where they're located to be able to send them the correct information? Is that where you guys come in, or where your marketing team should come in?
Yeah. Okay. All right. The only medium that you can do this, there's really only one that you can do this in currently, and that is mail. Mm-hmm. You can't target any other medium the way I just said in any other medium. Okay. Facebook, you can target geographically. You can target by female, male. You can't really target by household income, and you can't really target by credit worthiness or marketability index. Okay, so basically male is it. That's the only one where you can get so refined. I can find left-handed midgets within 12 miles of my house if I wanted to find them, right? Okay, so how do you do that? We go through, are you familiar with Equifax?
Yes.
The word Equifax? Okay, everybody thinks what they do for a living is give away free credit scores. Okay, that's the least important thing they do for a living. They're the world's largest provider of direct mail lists in the galaxy. Okay, that's their business. And if you're not a middleman, which we're not, okay, we get to go right into their search engines. See, it's like if you Google direct mail list on the internet right now, whatever comes up, if it doesn't say Epsilon or Experian or Equifax, it's a middleman.
They're reselling whatever. They're just pulling the data off and giving it to you because they have access to that.
That's correct. Okay. So when I say targeting geography, household income, credit worthiness, marketability index, what I'm telling you is that's exactly how my crew goes in and targets a mail list for a client. Okay. So, right. So now here's the problem. The middlemen can't do it unless they're ordering $500,000 worth of mail lists a year. Okay. And the individual person obviously can't do it because they're not going to spend $500,000 a year on mail lists. Okay. What you don't want is you don't want straight household income. Because remember the old days during the housing bubble when everybody was logging on to LendingTree and DiTech and overstating their income and getting loans that they can't afford and buying houses that are like 5 times too big for themselves? Okay. Well, all that information was going into those websites and it was going right to the mail list companies. Okay. So the income levels they're off by a factor of 50, 60%. They're overstated in all those databases. Okay. So the only company that you can balance that against with credit worthiness is Epsilon. That's it. So if you order your mail list from anyone else, okay, it's not total crap, but it's largely crap.
Data is inaccurate, at least.
No, and the housing bubble is what caused it. It wasn't the mail list companies. It was them bringing in all that data during the housing bubble.
Very interesting.
I'm sure over time it'll fix itself, but it's not going to come anytime soon.
Well, I've really liked the message you've given us today. How there's 2 segments of the market. Well, I guess in a way it goes 50-50-50 at that. 50% of the U.S. population women, and then of those 50% are more value driven or looking at the cost, and the other 50%, I guess that they would be the more value. They see value more than cost. So the opposite of that. And you've got to be able to target them effectively to be able to use your marketing dollars as because any dollar that you spend, you want to be, or any dollar that you're bringing in as a dental practice, any income revenue you're generating, and even if you don't have any revenue yet, any dollars you're lending, you want to get a return on that. And so it's best to spend that in the areas of those segments we just talked about as effectively as possible. And that's some really interesting information about the mail list, things like that. I've never actually heard that information. That's really interesting. And I talk to people about this all the time. So that's very, very interesting. So, I appreciate your time today. We're going a little bit over. So, is there anything that you want to, if anyone has any other questions, if you'd like to continue the conversation, I'd love to have this be a 2-parter. We can meet again to have another discussion at some point in time. If I'm sure you got a lot more that you could share with us.
Just give me an email. Let me know a day and time. I get it in my schedule. I'm happy to help. I'm wondering if we can send your group to, I've got 7 hours of CE online. I'm wondering if we can send your group there if they're interested. I don't know. You and I can talk about it. No, I'm happy to do this. As long as it fits in the schedule, I'm good.
Sure. So if anyone has any questions.
This is the part of my day. The rest of the part of my day is here's a project, here's a resource. Well, are they doing their job? Are they not? I mean, So
sure.
It's like,
this is the fun part where you get to hang out with buddies. So
yeah, exactly.
So if there's anyone has any questions for you, any follow-ups from today, what's a good way for them to be able to get in contact with you or to be able to ask questions?
Normally, email is best.
Sure.
Mark D, MARKD, at newpatientsinc.com.
Okay. Well, Mark, we really appreciate your time, and everyone, I encourage you to send Mark an email thanking him for coming on today. And if you have any other questions about the way he helps dental practices, I think that he'd be a fantastic person for you to be able to help out with. So again, Mark, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
A special thanks to Mark for sticking around longer and providing such incredible insight into the marketing side of owning a practice. As you heard, many practices get a poor return from their marketing budget when they're first starting out because they don't know how to spend it. With a little direction, this doesn't have to be the case for your practice. As a bonus for today, we're giving away a free copy of Dr. Dilatush's marketing book, Unlimited New Patients. It's a $160 value, guys. It's a very valuable book. So to get that bonus, simply text practice to 33444. Again, that's practice to 33444, or visit startyourdentalpractice.com/bonus if you're outside of the U.S. You'll also receive updates on the latest episodes of Start Your Dental Practice, helpful tips for owning and running a practice, and promotional opportunities direct to your inbox. So that's it for today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the learning and implementation have to stop there. I've created a free report called The 15 Numbers That Will Make or Break Your Dental Practice. This report has been downloaded over 1,000 times by dental professionals. So if you want your free copy of this report that's going to outline what the most important numbers are in any dental practice, and it also includes how to look at your numbers, how to set goals, has a whole slew of really important information that is the culmination of all of my experience as a dental CPA, then just go to startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. That is startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. And so that's it for today, Ambitious Dentist. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV. I'll see you next week with another world-class practice owner or consultant that will help you start your very own dental practice. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Start Your Dental Practice community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor and go to startyourdentalpractice.com/iTunes to leave your honest feedback and review on iTunes. It's going to help me create a better experience, a better show, a better podcast for you, the ambitious dentist. Your feedback really does help, regardless if you like the show today or not. If you didn't like the show, let me know, because it's going to help me create a better show and podcast for you. Lastly, if you know of anybody that would benefit from today's episode and today's content, today's guest, please feel free to share with them on social media or through email.